going on YouTube? In today's video, we're going to be checking out the LG C2 OLED Evo. So this is the latest installment in, LG C series, which is designed for gamers. It's got a lot of features that enhances the gaming experience, whether it's on console or on a PC. So personally, I've had it installed for about 4 to 5 months now. And in that time, I've loved it. I've had no issues, no problems at all. And although it was a pricey purchase, I do not regret buying it at all. Honestly, I find that it's one of those things that you buy and then, over time, you're like, you know what, I'm glad I did this. So if you don't know anything about the LG C series line, it really kind of took off with the LG CX when the PS5 and Xbox Series X launched about 2 years ago. I didn't pick it up then, I didn't even pick up the C1 after that. I decided to wait and see how, well it developed as a brand or as a TV for gaming. And here we are 3 installments later. I've picked up my first LG C series TV, but not my first OLED TV, because I had one before this from Sony. That TV worked great. There was no issues at all. The reason why I got rid of that for the LG C2 is because the LG C2 has, features that are geared towards gamers specifically. And we'll go into that during this long-term review right here. One more thing I'll let you guys know before I jump right into it is Black Friday is coming up, as well as holiday sales. So now is a good time to pick up, either the C2 or, the previous versions, the C1 or the CX. The C2 comes in different sizes ranging from 42 to 83 inches, with the 42-inch making its first debut this year. I noticed from videos that a lot of people ended up with the 42-inch model mainly for desktop use, but for my setup, the 48-inch turned out to be a better choice. Each TV comes with some manuals, a power cable, magic remote, and a stand. Something worth noting is that the 42 and 48-inch models use different types of stands, but like most TVs, they're both VESA compatible. For my setup, I ended up mounting the TV to the closet wall for a much cleaner look. One of the things I love about the C2 is the super slim profile. When mounted onto the wall, the TV sticks out a lot less than your traditional LED TV will, helping create a clean, minimal, and modern look. The C2 uses LG Display's 4K OLED Evo panel, which is slightly brighter than the 4K OLED panels used in previous models. It also features pixel dimming for better black levels, and the bezels on it are just about non-existent. You can also view the C2 from pretty much any angle while maintaining the same image quality. My room has a large window next to it, so I've used this with tons of light in the room and without, and I'll say it definitely looks better in a dark room, but still looks great even when the room is very bright. There's lots of connectivity options on the C2 with the exception of a USB-C or Thunderbolt port. On the back side, you'll find 4 HDMI 2.1 ports that can all reach up to 120 Hz of refresh rate for high frame rate gameplay. Having lots of HDMI 2.1 ports can be very useful, especially when paired with high-end gaming consoles and graphics cards that use the same ports. HDMI 2.1 is also backward compatible, meaning you can use the C2 with HDMI 2.0 devices like the PS4, but you certainly won't be maximizing the TV's features. The second HDMI port on it also features eARC for anyone who's planning on connecting a single HDMI cable to a soundbar or to a receiver. For my setup, I've got my PC hooked up to the first HDMI port and my PS5 to the second port. There's also an Ethernet port, an optical audio output, 2 USB 2.0 ports, and a mini jack. The C2 runs off LG's Alpha 9 Gen 5 processor, and for the Smart TV section, it runs WebOS, which uses a vertical layout for displaying different sections. The homepage is very customizable and the navigation feels very intuitive. The TV also uses AI features like LG's ThinQ AI for granting the C2 access to other smart home devices. AI Picture and Sound Pro also help in improving the overall image and sound quality on the C2 as well. I don't know if you care, but you've also got common voice assistants like Alexa and Google built into the C2 for voice control, as well as Apple AirPlay 2 and HomeKit for your Apple devices. Colors on the C2 are already accurate and you get perfect blacks, but it doesn't end there. The C2 also supports HDR formats like Dolby Vision, HDR10, and HLG. It also uses Dynamic Tone Mapping Pro to improve the HDR quality further, making movies and games look extremely sharp and colorful on the TV. Honestly, it's almost to the point where everything feels lifelike. When it comes to gaming, which is the main reason I picked this up, there's a lot that the C2 can do. It's got lots of features that will take the gaming experience to a whole new level. First off, the OLED panel it uses has an extremely low response time of 0.1 millisecond, which I've always loved about OLED TVs. There's also a game optimizer mode which can be turned on to activate a bunch of game enhancing features. When you open up the game bar settings menu, you will find 2 tabs. One for tweaking game settings like VRR, FreeSync, G-Sync, ALLM, and more. The second tab allows you to adjust the picture settings including brightness, contrast, black stabilizer, and other things like that. In those 4 to 5 months with the TV, I used it with high-end gaming consoles like the PS5 and the Series X. I've also used it with high-end PC graphics cards like the RTX 3080 Ti and currently the 4090. And to be honest with you guys, the gameplay experience has been one of the best I've ever had with any TV. I find that the perfect blacks and perfect colors enhanced by HDR and high frame rates makes gameplay really come to life on the C2. When it comes to watching movies or TV shows on the C2, that's all great as well. Everything looks so much richer, and you also get the Dolby Vision and Atmos experience from streaming apps like Netflix. I don't use it for watching movies a lot, but when I do, it makes me want to replace my living room LED TV with an OLED one, since I watch movies and TVs, shows a lot more there. Just like I said, the C2 supports Dolby Atmos, which is great for, a much better surround sound. Speaking of audio, I find that the audio coming directly from the TV is decent enough if you plan on using the TV without external speakers. At least for me it is, but I end up using headphones most of the time anyways.
Now, if I was a mercenary dressed like a scorpion, where would I be? Behind you!
There's also a choice of different sound modes that have been tailored to work better in certain situations and can improve audio when used for that purpose. The Magic Remote is still my favorite TV remote to date. The remote can act like a PC cursor, which is great, especially when using the on-screen keyboard. There's also a ball scroll wheel at the center for smooth vertical scrolling and quick access buttons to common TV apps like Netflix, Disney+, LG channels, and more. Push the power button once to switch to photo gallery or twice to turn off the TV. To power the remote, you're going to need two AA batteries. They do provide you with two at the start, but then you'll need to provide yours henceforth. Now that we've talked about the C2 and all of its great qualities, let's go over the issue of burn-in. I know a lot of you guys are wondering about this one. Like I said, I've had it for about 5 months now, and before this, I had another OLED, which I used for 2 years. Until this day, I haven't encountered any issues with burn-in. Now, I'm not saying it isn't an issue with OLEDs, but the C2 has a ton of OLED care settings, which are turned on by default to help in preventing a burn-in. As long as you keep these on, you should be fine. If you plan on using the C2 as a PC monitor, then you can also hide your desktop icons and use animated wallpapers to keep things from sitting in the same spot throughout. Personally, I've only just kept the OLED care settings on this whole time, and it's all worked out well. I'll also have you guys know that if you choose to use one of the OLED care picture modes, you're not going to be able to manually choose any of the other picture modes or even adjust settings like brightness. So the TV will do all of that automatically for you. Other than the possibility of burn-in for OLEDs, there's also the issue of cost. I'll admit that OLEDs have gotten cheaper, but not to the point of being very affordable. From my point of view, I think anyone who isn't ready to break the bank on a C2 should look into getting the C1, which is still one of the best OLED TVs you can get for gaming. The 48-inch C2 is currently retailing for $1,600 Canadian dollars on Amazon, but sales season is upon us, and I'm sure there are going to be lots of sales, lots of discounts, and if not for the C2, there's going to be for the C1 certainly. I'll link both down in the description for those of you guys that are interested. Overall, I'm sure I spent more than I would have liked to when I bought the C2, but the overall gaming experience with the TV has been fantastic, and I can't wait to see how a game like God of War Ragnarok will play on this. Anyway, that's it for this video right here. If you've got any questions, go ahead and leave them down in the comment section below. Drop a like if you enjoyed the video, and I'll catch you guys in my next one.